Hi, Laura Davis-Taylor, live on the floor. This is DSF Live, and we're with Sophatar, with Bart. And a lot of interesting, cool things have been announced lately, right? Do you want to tell us about the first one?
Absolutely. So the first one I'll mention is our Super Receipt API that provides sales data from printed receipts. And NEC had an announcement of the integration that they're doing in their AL platform, where we actually provide the sales data into the AL platform using our Super Receipt API. So that's one thing that we announced actually at DSC a couple of months ago. And here at InfoComm, we're showing some new things on our proxy screen platform, which is our proximity digital signage, where we are actually creating a link between phones and digital signage. So
let's explore that.
Let's
explore that. So I know of you because we're working very closely with NEC ALP with the Living Retail Lab. Okay, and one of the things that we've been really vexed to figure out is what additional data lenses can we bring into the measurement ecosystem of what we're doing and what people are doing.
Right.
And there's a lot happening with the ability to get some valuable insights from people's phones. Can you help us understand a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So first, obviously privacy is very important. So we don't do anything that's not opt-in for the customer, where the customer doesn't opt in to provide information. So we have a way to obtain data of somebody who's in proximity of a screen that can either be without an app or with an app. With an app, we can do more than without an app. But without an app, what we can do is we can promote something on a screen and have a call to action by installing something that you can get on your phone by scanning a QR code off the screen. And we actually use something that's built into both the iOS and the Android platforms, which are mobile wallet passes. And you may know it from the airlines, they use it as boarding passes. So we use that capability of both iOS and Android to show something on a digital signage screen and have it installed on somebody's phone just by clicking a link that installs a wallet pass in either Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. So that's one way that we can do a call to action, right, of somebody who sees something on a screen and then gets it installed on their phone without requiring a mobile app, which is the important thing here. Now the limitation of that is that it's one way, so we can push content to somebody's phone and have that content be location triggered when they come near a geofence or near a beacon area. So we use Bluetooth beacons and we use longitude-latitude coordinates that are encoded on that pass. When your phone comes within proximity of those locations, it's actually going to trigger a notification. So think of an ad network that's a city ad network where you have multiple advertisers promoting their products on one screen, maybe at an anchor business location in town. We can actually have mobile wallet passes for each of those advertisers that trigger at the business location when the customer goes there, you know, the next day or the next week. So it's a call to action that becomes relevant at the time and location that you're actually near a location that advertises on that network. So that's what we do with mobile wallet passes linked with digital signage. Now the next step is when you actually have a mobile app, now this thing can become two-way. We can actually not only push content to somebody's phone from digital signage, but we can also have that person's phone become a remote control for a digital signage screen. And not just in retail, but think of trade shows, think of museums, exhibits. We have some projects with colleges that are now looking at making screens more interactive.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and not just because of the engagement, but there's a whole thing now about accessibility, ADA compliance. You know, it's a big thing for websites. A lot of the big internet companies are putting a lot of effort in making their websites ADA compliant, making sure they're accessible from screen readers and so on. For physical businesses, it's really important, wheelchair access. We think the next step is, with the proliferation of touchscreens, that now there needs to be a way of having people in wheelchairs be able to control those screens and interact with those screens. We can do that from a phone. So we have.
That's huge. Yeah. That's huge because I have a store design background as well as this stuff, and it's a big thing to have to build in that you have to have that ADA compliant for every single opportunity that you offer to the environmental customer.
Exactly. So we have two ways, both for visually impaired. We can actually have content showing on a screen that's replicated on the phone.
That's awesome. I have a blind mother, so yeah, I see what she does with iPhones every day.
Right. And then secondly, as I mentioned, wheelchair accessibility of touchscreens. If they're mounted up high, you can't reach them, right? So now they become controllable from your phone. Again, opt-in because you have an app where basically you have that interaction. It doesn't need to be our app. We have an SDK. It can be integrated in a business app, a retail app, or a brand app. The business gets the information firsthand. If they're a brand advertising in a store, they probably don't have access to the customer database of that store. But because of that location triggering that we have through beacon technology, we can actually detect that the customer is in the store in front of the product shelf of your brand and provide the information directly to you. So there's an analytics component built into it that you can actually do that location detection, which could be very complementary to anything that's camera-based, right? Especially if there's some, pushback against cameras from a privacy perspective.
Which we need to prepare for in certain cases.
Absolutely. So then this becomes an alternative where, yes, you need a mobile app. You don't need the investment in cameras. But again, the mobile app can be integrated into an existing app. It doesn't need to be something, and we're actually not in the business of doing mobile app development. We rather just provide an SDK so that it can be integrated with an existing app that's already there.
Really solves a lot of issues. So can I ask you a wildcard question? I've been tracing NFC for a long time, and I heard a rumor that come June, anybody with iPhone 10 and above and all Android will not need an app to be able to do basically a tap. Is that something that's true? Is that something that might come into the portfolio here as well as another option for opt-in?
It could be. And actually, before I go to NFC, so the new thing we're showing here at InfoComm is a link with Wi-Fi. So we also now are working with another company that does Wi-Fi audience measurement that we have integrated into our platform. So Proxy Screen now has the ability both to detect engaged customers who have the app through Bluetooth beacon technology, but we can also detect the total audience within a certain range, 15 feet, 20 feet of a display, using Wi-Fi detection. And that does not require an app, and we don't know the person, we don't know the customer, there's no attribution to a specific customer, but we know the total number of devices, basically, that are within the vicinity of the viewing range of the screen. On NFC, I'm not exactly familiar with what you mentioned, but obviously you can tap with NFC, and it's mostly used for payment. So we kind of see the three technologies being very complementary. NFC for an immediate action you take for a payment terminal, Bluetooth for a distance of 15, 20, 30 feet away, and then Wi-Fi that could span a complete store or a complete department store, a larger area. So we think the combination of all three technologies is really what businesses, retailers, could be looking at, and we aim to provide that platform.
This is great. It's music to my ears. As a practitioner, for sure. Then congratulations, and we're looking forward to hearing more.
Okay, well, thank you for the interview, Laura. It was great to be with you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.